Morning walk, August 2011, the Shivananda Yogi Camp down to Lake Raymond. Prahlad Reddy and Arjuna from the Family Week talk about Swami Vishnu Devananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.
त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनं उर्वारुकमिवन्दनां मृत्योर्मुक्षेमन्दात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनं उर्वारुकमिवन्दनां मृत्योर्मुक्षेमन्दात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनं उर्वारुकमिवन्दनां मृत्योर्मुक्षेमन्दात् ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 ॐ पीस पीस पीस।
बोलो सद्गुरु शिवानंद महाराज की जय। स्वामी विष्णुनंद महाराज की जय।
गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश श्री गणेश श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
शरवण भव शरवण भव शरवण भव पाहि मां सुब्रह्मण्य 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 रक्ष मां
शरवण भव शरवण भव शरवण भव पाहि मां सुब्रह्मण्य 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 रक्ष मां
शरवण भव शरवण भव शरवण भव पाहि मां
शरवण भव शरवण भव शरवण भव पाहि मां
सुब्रह्मण्य 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 रक्ष मां
सुब्रह्मण्य 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 रक्ष मां
जय सरस्वती जय सरस्वती पाहि मां श्री सरस्वती रक्ष मां
जय सरस्वती पाहि मां श्री सरस्वती रक्ष मां
जय सरस्वती पाहि मां
जय सरस्वती पाहि मां
श्री सरस्वती रक्ष मां
श्री सरस्वती रक्ष मां
जय गुरु शिव गुरु हरि गुरु राम जगद्गुरु परम गुरु साम
जय गुरु शिव गुरु हरि गुरु राम जगद्गुरु परम गुरु सद्गुरु श्याम
ओम आदि गुरु अद्वैत गुरु आनंद गुरु
Om Adi Guru Advaita Guru Ananda Guru Om.
चित गुरु चित गना गुरु चिन्मया गुरु
Chit Guru Chitana Guru Chinmaya Guru Om.
ओम आदि गुरु अद्वैत गुरु आनंद गुरु ओम चित गुरु चित गना गुरु चिन्मय गुरु
Om Adi Guru Advaita Guru Ananda Guru Om. Chit Guru Chitana Guru Chinmaya Guru Om.
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Om Gurunatha Sri Gurunatha Jai Gurunatha Sivananda
Om Gurunatha Shri Gurunatha Jai Gurunatha Shivananda
Sivananda 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 Sadgurunatha
Shivananda 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 Satgurunatha
Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Sri Gurunatha
Vishnudevananda 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 Shri Gurunatha
Sing Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya
Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya
Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya
Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya
Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya
Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya
Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya
Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Narayanaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Sivanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Sadgurudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Satgurudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Sivanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Sadgurunadaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Satgurunataya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnu Devanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnu Devanandaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnudevanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnudevanandaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnu Devanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Gurunadaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnudevanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Gurunataya
Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye
Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye
Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Rama Priyaye Namaha
Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Rama Priyaye Namaha
Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Rama Priyaye Namaha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Agastya Munaye. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Rama Priyaye Namaha.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram.
Dattatreya 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 Paimam. Dattaguru 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 Rakshama.
Dattatreya 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 Paimam. Dattaguru 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 Rakshamam.
Shankaracharya 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 Paimam. Advaita Guru Advaita Guru Advaita Guru Rakshama.
Shankaracharya 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 Paimam. Advaita Guru Advaita Guru Advaita Guru Rakshamam.
Anjaneya 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 Paimam. Hanumanta 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 Rakshama.
Anjaleya 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 Paimam. Hanumanta 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 Rakshamam.
Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
Anando Hamanando Hamanandam Brahmanandam.
Anando Amanando Amanandam Brahmanandam.
I am bliss, bliss, absolute bliss I am.
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 Anando Hamanando Hamanandam Brahmanandam.
Anando Amanando Amanandam Brahmanandam.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Jaya Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev. Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya Shri Guru Dev. Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya Shri Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya Shri Guru Dev. Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya Shri Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev. Shivananda Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev, Shivananda Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev. Shivananda Guru Dev.
Vande Guru Dev, Shivananda Guru Dev.
Jaya Jaya Shri Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
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 Vande Gurudev Jaya Jaya 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 Gurudev.
Jaya Shri 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 Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Jaya Shri 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 Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Vishnu Swami 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 Gurudev.
Jaya Shri 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 Gurudev Vishnu Swami Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Jaya Shri 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 Gurudev Shivananda Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Jaya Jaya 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 Gurudev.
Jaya Shri 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 Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Vande Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Om Gam Gurubhyo Namaha.
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 Om Namo Narayanaya.
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 Om Namo
Gaye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha.
Om Aim Saraswati Namaha.
Aim Saraswati Namaha.
Om Aim Saraswati Namaha.
Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnudevanandaya.
Om
Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnudevanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnudevanandaya. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने. You on YouTube. And then you turn the head. Here is Karuna. She puts you on Facebook. Okay, so family week. How is it going so far? Family week? Awesome. Awesome. Sounds like so it's growing. As you know, like Swamiji was very fond of people always. Like, you know, he did not had one kind of people. He used to love everyone. He used to accommodate like most of the stuff that is comfortable for people. As you see, like the way he started the kids camp, like in the beginning he was always with Marilyn Rosner carrying the kids and jumping with them in the swimming pool, etc., etc. So it's nothing is new. He had that love, he had that care. And Swamiji was also very, what you call, like a careful person in many aspects. He always used to tell us that, you know, public trust, they give us money and you have to be more accountable. Okay, so that's what I remember very carefully. And I had my lesson, very hard lesson, when I was very young. I was one of this trip and I had to get down and get something from a shop. You know, when you're going with Swamiji in India, like, you know, you just like go into random places and do random things. So Swamiji had always this thing, like, he used to train us, like, it's not much money in the organization, and even there is money, he just goes and gives it to some orphanage or some school or some hospital. We were always in minus. It was always like struggle. And Swamiji purposefully used to do it. Okay. Each time when he sees something, takes it, and even a center, it is doing really well, they say, he takes one staff and start another center. So he used to create that struggle for us so that we don't forget, you know, like, we don't get into that comfort zone. But anyhow, remember that I'm telling this story because there is something else coming after. So I had to go and buy something, and as usual, you know, you're taking care of Swamiji and they ask you to jump because you're Indian, and most of the time Swamiji used to travel with different nationality people. And I, you know, traveling with Swamiji, I speak quite few languages in India, so I used to jump, and I got down and I got something. Then you know, Swamiji observes, like, it's not then, you know, like, so, you know, you being a young boy, you do some things like haphazardly, basically. And I remember on that particular day, I got the stuff, and Swamiji drives almost like 1.5 to 2 kilometers. Then suddenly he asked, like, how much was it? I say, Swamiji, is 7.95. Like, you know, rupees 7.95. He says that, did you get the change? I said, yes. Then he says, did you get the receipt? I said, no, Swamiji, I forgot. So this is Swamiji. He stops the van there and he says, get down, go back, get the receipt. It was 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers. He did not turn the vehicle back. So I had to walk all the way. I get the receipt, come back. Swamiji don't say anything. And until I come, Swamiji was waiting there. There was some Kartikeya there and some Vishnu was also there. And then Swamiji did not say anything. That is the first and last time I ever forget to ask him. Why I'm saying, because Swamiji used to teach, like, you know, very hard way, and then you don't forget that. Okay, and then later, because he has a plan always, you know, for the staff, he find the potential and he put them into that. And later, he put me with one of my students who is a chartered accountant, very old man, and he's like stubborn, he goes with books and everything. And in India, when the accounts are ticked, it was like really like, you know, I had to sit with him and report to Swamiji every day. So there is 10 rupees that is taken by Swami Govindananda, approved by him, expended by him, and that's not acceptable. Okay, so like that, all that was there. I did not understand being young, but then later when I came to Canada, Lakshmi was accountant here, and she was acting up a little bit, and he says, okay, put Prahlad there. Because, you know, he used to prepare the person for what's coming. And I never got into the accounts at that time, and you know, the bills were always like minus 350, minus 400,000, but I don't know. I know what to do, but I cannot put my head. But later on, when it came into my hands, bits are little, you know, but that's his training. He was always careful, watch what's coming. what you spend, and you're not spending your money, it's public money. That's what it is. I'm saying this because we have Arjuna here. Most of you don't know Arjuna comes to do the family week. And he puts his heart into it and is very successful, as you know. But in the beginning, when Arjuna came here, Arjuna and Kumari used to be here in the yoga camp. Arjuna used to be the accountant. And then later they have been sent to Montreal Center. And of course they got the kids and they have to go out. So Arjuna has a lot of stories to tell about Swamiji. Can you come up, Arjuna? Sometimes you don't know who you are, who the people are here. You know.
Laugh. And I used to laugh along with them until they made me the accountant in the office. And then you would find out that he really was a minus millionaire. And to be, you know, Swamiji taught us that he learned from Shivananda that any spiritual organization that had lots of money had lots of troubles. And Shivananda was called Swami Givananda because the more things came in, he'd just give it out, keep the energy moving. And Swamiji had that same idea here in the West, but it was difficult for the staff. You know, you can't believe how luxurious it is here now at the yoga camp. In the old days, it used to be thin mattresses. People would always complain that they couldn't sleep. They'd say, Swamiji, I can't sleep on that mattress. And Swamiji used to say, oh, he'd be giving a lecture at night, you know. And Swamiji would talk a long time. Often we would go to 11 o'clock at night with Swamiji talking, you know. And people would start to fall asleep, you know. And Swamiji said, look, you all complain we got thin mattresses, you can't sleep. Look, you can all sleep sitting up. You know, so it was very kind when Swamiji was here. You know, his house is across the street, many from the camp. And he used to invite us down there quite often. And when I was staff at the camp, Swamiji did, every day he listened to the BBC News, he watched CBC News, just to find out where in the world there was trouble going on, where there was war, where people hating each other. So he'd call us all down to his house, and it was so neat. We would sit, it's gone now, but there used to be a greenhouse on the side of his house. And Swamiji, after had a car accident, he had a jacuzzi there, so he'd sit in there because he had such pain in his back. But he'd get us down, and we'd do Lakita Japa, Om Namo Narayanaya, just right over and over with Swamiji. And then we'd chant Om Namo Narayanaya whenever there was a war in the world. And Swamiji would say that just a few of us getting together and singing Om Namo Narayanaya would balance the world and bring it back into harmony, you know, because there's so much hate and negativity in the world, and Om Namo Narayanaya is such a strong chant that it can bring the world back into balance. So we were very, very blessed to sit with Swamiji, but also, as Prahlad said, his teaching wasn't easy. You know, many of you never met Swami Vishnu. You just think, oh, gee, if I got to sit beside Swami Vishnu, I'd be an enlightened soul, and I didn't get to see him in the flesh. But it wasn't like that. You would bring your own mind with you when you came, and if you had trouble in your mind, you couldn't see Swami Vishnu for who he was, and I couldn't see him for many, many, many years. And Swami Vishnu had even when I was accountant, every day I would have to go and see Swami Vishnu and bring him the books. And Swami Kartikeya was his secretary, so I'd always kind of fearfully knock on his door. I was always a little bit afraid of Swami Vishnu. He was an intimidating character. You don't meet people in life like Swami Vishnu. For me, he was intimidating. Other people, not at all, but because of who I was and what I did. So Swami Vishnu, for 5 years, would always say, when I saw him, if I was brought a student from Montreal to see Swami Vishnu, Swami Vishnu saw the student for the first time, and he'd say, "Oh, Mary, how are you?" And I said, "How's he know her name?" And then he'd look at me and say, "Mary, who's that guy with you? He said that to me for 5 years and I never got it. So I'd go and I'd bring the accounts every day. I'm the accountant, I'm a big important guy, I got the books. So I'd knock, Swami Kartikeya would bring me into Swami Vishnu, and Swami Vishnu would say every day, who's this guy? Somebody says, it's Arjuna with the books. Oh, it's Arjuna, okay. But every time for 5 years when Swami Vishnu said, who's this guy? I would get mad. I'd get upset. I'd say, how does he know everybody else's name? He doesn't know my name. He did this for 5 years to me. And I'd say, that's Swami Vishnu, he's so stupid. I'm not stupid. Swami Vishnu's stupid, And Swami Kartikeya, his secretary, used to laugh. She used to, when Swamiji would say, who's that guy with you? She'd always go, everyone knew that it was a trick. So, eventually when I left, when I was leaving the ashram, my daughter Annapurna was being born. Swamiji says, Arjuna, you don't think I know who you are, but I really know who you are. You think I don't love you, but the reason I'm here is because I love all of my students. And then he as I left him, he gave me a predictions about how hard my married life was going to be, and he knew where I had come from. And he said, Arjuna, if you don't keep on coming back and back to the ashram, you're going to go right back to where you are. Kumari, my wife, he said, she never has to come back. The ashram lives in her. So it's kind of neat. So, it wasn't easy. So, the lessons I got from that, who is this guy, were three. One lesson is he was always poking at the ego. Big ego. I had a big ego. I'm the director of Montreal Center. I'm the accountant of International Shivananda. Who is this guy? This thing. So, in Vedanta, as the advanced teacher trainings they're going to learn, there's this one of the questions: who am I? Who am I really? So he's always trying to teach me that lesson. So that's the second thing. Ask myself, who am I? We should all be asking ourselves, who am I really? And later on, I became a guest coordinator. And I try to learn everybody's name when I'm guest coordinator, all the guests that come. So I was telling the story once in the Bahamas, and a guest said to me, a third lesson Swami Vishnu taught you is how important it is to know people's names. Swami Vishnu knew everybody's name. He knew their job. If a lawyer came, he'd tell a lawyer joke. If a doctor came, he'd tell a doctor joke. If a parent came, he'd always ask about their children. It was uncanny how many people he knew. So I took that on and started learning people's names, and then people really appreciate that. So that's three lessons that I got from Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And they have these preconceived notions about Swamiji. Swamiji was very simple. He had that tremendous amount of care and watching you. Okay, when you're around him, like you feel completely like you're like protected, because he takes care of everything, and he just bring out the best what you have, and also he just like bangs you onto the floor when the ego comes up. So anyhow, if you want to listen to that Swamiji, it is still available. We have around 2,000 tapes that we transferred into the CDs, and then later we digitized. But now Sita, who is here with Radha, she is working with Swami Sivadas, and they did a wonderful job. It says Swamiji Talks. They are already on the website. So you can choose any different topic like prana or mind or anything. Like you can just get some of these lectures, and they are like you can listen to them or you can download them, right? So there is a website address, but that's on the main site we already listed on the home site. The link is there. So if you want to listen to Swamiji, please go on that. And Swamiji was never giving a talk like a subject. He always like laughs and make jokes, and then he makes sure that you understand the subject. So he was quite on to thorough teaching, but not in a dry way. It was quite like jovial being. Okay? So we have the announcements for the day.
de l'étang. À 10h, on va manger ensemble. À 11h, on a une petite excursion pour le 1001 potes, Lollipop Glassblower et Val David. Donc si ça vous intéresse, vous pouvez venir nous voir à réception. À midi, il y a coaching et counseling avec Rada sur le plafond à côté de l'étang, côté de la piscine, pardon. Et puis à 16h, on recommence avec le yoga, le bâtiment jaune et blanc pour le doux, l'intermédiaire sur le plafond à côté de l'étang et l'avancée sur le plafond à côté de la piscine. Et aussi, il y aura le yoga pour les enfants, pour la famille à Annapurna. 6h, on va manger ensemble et puis à 20h, on a la satsang. Et Dr. Bat va nous donner une petite introduction à la médecine Ayurveda, qui est la médecine traditionnelle de l'Inde. Et aussi, il y a le satsang pour les enfants à 8h moins quart. So, 2 yoga classes at 8 o'clock, the gentle class in the yellow and white building, the intermediate class on the platform next to the pond. 10 o'clock we eat. At 11 o'clock there's going to be a bike outing to 1001 Pots, Lollipop, Glassblower and Val David. So if you're interested in that, just come and see us at reception, sign up your names. 12 o'clock there's coaching and counselling with Radha, that's on the platform next to the pool. 4 o'clock there's 4 yoga classes. There's gentle in the yellow and white building, intermediate on the platform next to the pond, advanced on the platform next to the swimming pool, and then there's yoga for families and children, that's at Annapurna. 6 o'clock we eat, 8 o'clock there's satsang, and Dr. Bhatt's going to give us a lecture and introduction into Ayurveda medicine, which is the traditional medicine in India. And at 7:45 there's satsang for the children. So as well as that, we've got the boutique and health at 10:45 to 2, 6:45 to 7:45, sauna, pool 11 to 3:35, massages and consultations with Dr. Bhatt. Come and see us at reception. And there's also going to be other outings. There's another one on Friday, so just come and see us at reception for more information. And there's bicycles to rent.